Today on Contractor Fight TV. Literally had spit come out of my mouth. It's getting worse. If I can get the tears out of my eyes, we'll be good. Fighters, today on Contractor Fight TV. This guy is going to help you figure out what stage of your business you're in right now, what needs to happen for you to get to the next stage if you choose to do so. Let's go. All right, my furry fighter friends from around the fun world. I don't know, I was trying to use more F's. You're high, okay? Like you're way high. Whatever. You guys are like, are you kidding me? You're starting with this stupid humor that you think is funny? Like I can hear you guys, that's what you're saying. All right, listen. It's time to talk about the different phases of a business, right? There's many articles that are written on this stuff. You know, you're an infant, you got the teen years, and then you're an adult, and this and that. One of the things we've done here in the fight, and I'm going to drop a link to this resource for you later, but I'm going to talk a little bit about it here, is we've narrowed it down just to 4 things that we've seen over and over that just kind of work for us here in the fight. And I want to share this with you guys a little bit here today, because it's, if you can understand where you're at today in your business and determine where you want to go, you'll be able to kind of get locked in, squared away, dialed in to do the shit that you got to do in this phase to get you to the next phase. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay? So, can't run before you walk. So listen, before we get into these 4 stages of business, growth, the evolution of your business, I want to say that there's some crossover. There's always going to be a little bit of crossover. So just think hard about where you're at and what applies to you. And hopefully this is a good resource for you. I think it will be. First stage I want to talk about is your startup phase, right? You're a brand new business. This is generally, remember these are generalities, but generally the first 1 to 2 years in business. All right? And I want to give, with each one of these quickly, I want to give you guys some areas of focus and pitfalls to avoid. So I'm going to break it down with each phase quickly like this. In this startup phase, you guys, this is when you got to be finding customers. You got to dial in who your ideal client is. Okay? Without really understanding who your customer is, you're going to have a hard time succeeding. This is a phase in those first couple of years where you're really getting your pricing and your estimating locked in so that you know you can make money right away. There's a myth out there that you can't make money right away. Oh, it's 2 years before we're profitable. That's bullshit. Okay? You can be profitable from day one. Another huge area of focus is sell. 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 You get the point? You need to sell. You need oxygen. All right? And in this phase, you're proving that you can deliver the service. Okay? You're just proving it to yourself. You're proving it to your customers, the marketplace. Referrals are kicking in and things like that. A couple things that I want you to avoid in this phase. Okay? Number 1, doubt and insecurity. Just because you're the new person on the block, new company on the block, new kid on the block. I think that was a band, wasn't it? Anyway, except it was plural kids. I never listened to them, no. You know, I wasn't into that. So, all right, doubt and insecurity. Oh, I'm too new. I can't charge that much money, Tom. People won't hire me. I think being new is actually an advantage, okay? Just straight up. Another pitfall to avoid is comparison, okay? It's unfair to you to compare yourself to somebody who's in one of the other phases down the road, okay? So avoid that. Second phase I want to talk about here is what I call the ramp up, okay? You started up, now you're ramping up. You've hit the runway. This is like 2 to 3, 4 years in, somewhere in that time frame. This is when you're really focusing on finding your niche and learning how to market and differentiate your brand and your business. Those first couple years of my business, it was like I'd paint this, I'd paint this, I'd paint this, I'd fix this, I'd do that, I'd clean gutters, I did anything to feed the family. All right? But a few years in, we got it squared away, we got it locked in. This is when you want to focus, like I said, build your brand, build your marketing and sales machine. And throughout every phase, by the way, marketing and sales will never stop. All right? This is understanding your ideal lead that comes in, type of project, things like that, and a time to work on improving your sales process, because as you grow your business, time is more scarce, okay? I mean, you still have the same 24 hours in a day, but the phone's ringing more, and you can't run out and see everybody and all that. Pitfalls to avoid here: lack of discipline, debt, and adding overhead too quickly. You got to stay away from those things, or it's going to submarine you guys, or torpedo you, all right? Third phase that I want to talk about. We had startup, we had ramp up, now we have the build up. This is like that 3, 4, 5 years in. You've kind of proven that you can find customers and you can close some deals, you can produce some work, your brand is starting to build, and this and that. Now it's really time to get serious about systems and processes, because that hustle in those first few years is only going to get you so far. You can only work so hard. You got to have some leverage, some levers in the business, and that's processes, systems, taking some hats off of you. That's bringing in other people on the team that are really good at some things that you're not. So many times here on Contractor Fight TV, people will go, Tom, I need systems, I need systems. I go, no. You probably suck at systems. What you need is oxygen. You need to make as much money, as much profit as you can so that you can hire somebody who's kick-ass at systems, all right? And this is, so you're hiring, you're training, you're putting those systems and processes in addition to those other things from those other phases. Couple things to avoid in this build-up phase. Unprofitable growth. Don't scale a turd, okay? You got a pile of shit and you don't want to scale it into a bigger pile of shit. That's really the point there. You don't want to micromanage in this phase. If you start micromanaging your people, you will never grow out of that role. It'll be a lot harder to right the ship as you move into the next phase, which is scale up, okay? Also, you want to avoid stupid debt. This is a phase that so many contractors come to us and they're in this build-up phase and they go, I want to scale, and they got a big pile of poop, okay? And they have debt coming out of their eyeballs and all this other crazy stuff. They're micromanaging. Their people can't take a piss without supervision. All right, many of you are probably there, and it's a shitty place to be. All right, fourth phase that I want to touch on here today before we get out of here. Scale up. To me, this is 5+ years. Might be 6, might be 7, whatever. These are generalities. This is when you're developing leaders. All right, your time as the owner, the visionary, the CEO of your business is you're doing less chasing of leads and sales and managing jobs because you got people in place. Now your time is spent coaching your team, raising up leaders. This is when you want to be spending time creating strategic relationships to help you increase sales, build a stronger culture, generating more referrals, all these types of things based on the machine that you're building. What you want to avoid here, again, micromanaging. Anyway, yeah. That was free, by the way. I didn't charge you for that. You want to avoid getting in the way. I'm guilty of this almost every day in the contractor fight with our team. Like, I got to apologize to Roz or Lindsay or somebody in the back of the company here that not on these videos that make all this shit happen. I'm like, yeah, I got bored over the weekend and I had an hour to kill and I meddled in this. I would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids. Anyway, got to be careful here to not fix something that's not broken in this phase. Okay? We want to optimize the things that are kicking ass, pour some gas on those things, chop the things that aren't productive for us, efficient or profitable, and this and that, in addition to those things about selling, marketing, building the brand, training, and all those things. So listen, my question for you right now, and type it in the comments here on the YouTube channel here on Contractor Fight TV. All right? What phase of business are you in right now based on what we talked about here today? Okay? Just identify that. Then you know where you're at. Okay, one of the biggest things I talked about here before, when you start comparing yourself to other people in different phases, it can be pretty depressing. You know, when you're a brand new company, you've been in business for 6 months, you're looking at somebody who's been in business for 18 years and they're doing $7 million a year and you feel like a loser. Well, you know what? They were in this phase once too. Okay, and so this is just like us growing as human beings. There's different seasons, there's different phases, there's different times of our growth where we're learning things, we're taking it on the chin, we're having some wins, and all these other things. Keep getting better, keep pounding that rock, okay? Show up every day and do the things you got to do, all right? I said I have a resource for you here. If you want more in-depth stuff on starting a new business in these phases, check out our foundations program. Go to thecontractorfight.com/foundations. It's a 100% self-guided course on the basics of business for you. Appreciate you guys hanging with us here today. You guys rock. I gotta roll.